just be locked in for takeover. So very safe first pick here for RNG. But LGD now have an opportunity to lock in a double power pick, right? Meteor has been spicy with his jungle picks. Pretty much all of the AP junglers up and available.
Yeah, but then you need the AD mid, so I reckon it's going to be Skarner Talia, maybe. The Talia does fine into the Corki, you can stop them dashing forward at some points, you can match some of that shove at points. This can be, of course, a flex through towards Meteor in that jungle. So there's no need for them to lock in a mid lane or a jungle champion right now if they think they can use that flex. Of course, Meteor, as you said, he's one of the players which is more versatile there, because getting one of those S-tier supports, the Nautilus, the Leona, feels like those two are there. They have returned, Joe. It's easy to lock that in. Skarner's still up and available.
And honestly, JinJiao has been decent on the Leona too, so I think that's a solid lock-in. Also, I kind of like that LGD didn't go for the Skarner, purely on the fact that you're up against a brand new top laner here today.
True.
Like, let's have a lane bully from Burdol. Like, this is Burdol's chance to kind of flex a little bit in that top side and show that he's the veteran here. As AP jungle locked in for Wei, it's going to be the Lilia coming through for RNG.
So, go on, Burdol. You're hovering so many interesting champions now for your top lane. Come on, do something interesting. We want to see this. You know, going into the Skarner, that's the known pick towards there. Like, surely you've got something interesting for this.
I mean, the Mordekaiser we have seen a good amount, and there it is. It's been seen as a counter to the Skarner. You can pull him away as he goes for the ult, but also you just slam the 1v1.
There are 3 champions which beat Skarner in a laning setting right now. 2 of them are banned, which are the Rumble and the Twisted Fate. The other one really is that Mordekaiser. It feels like those 3 are the ones which really hold Skarner to account. So sure, that makes sense. So maybe quite as flamboyant as it could have been, but still, we'll take that. And it does mean also that you can take out the Skarner from the front of the team fight too. Now you can see that LGD, they have plenty of magic damage on their comp. They don't really need to take away any AP options from themselves now, so they can kind of maybe take away some of the extra magic damage from RNG, like that Ziggs in that bot side we've been seeing. That one's an easy takeaway.
So, we'll see what the rest of the band's going to be. It's actually going to be the Nautilus taken away from Ming as well, so just making sure that that Leona is somewhat uncontested. We've seen a bit of a rise of the sort of Rel coming back in as well as an answer alongside the Nautilus and the Leona. But Meteor instantly goes for the Viego. 2 carry jungles banned, taken away from him. Just goes for another.
And that Viego, really, really helpful when you have picks like the Leona in meta, because either the Leona's going in and dying first, obviously not relevant because they're on this team, but then also can lock down one target to reset after that point, so into the Talia, into the Viego reset. So RNG, they want to make sure that they've got a little bit of tank frontline stuff that can survive the initial engage. So Rel with Celestial opposition and jumping back, that can help. They need an extra damage threat now though. They need an AD carry for Huanfeng. We've not really seen Corki ADC in regards to that, so we're expecting that to be an AD carry. Something like the Varus could be okay. I think that's just a very safe laning champion, especially since you don't know what Shaoye is locking on the other side just yet.
Does very well alongside the Corki too. We're quite often seeing Varus and Corki locked as a pair, but instead the Jin going to come on through. Similarly though, with long-range blasts to go alongside the Corki rockets and follow up on that all-in from a distance. We'll see what Shaoye wants to take to this lane though. Offering some pretty aggressive options. I will say Jin often very good at denying some of that aggression in the bottom side because you're so good at clearing waves. But the Draven locked in no less. Shaoye taking this bottom lane.
One of the ways you can tell how quick the game is going to go is what your junglers are, and I think the Viego is typically quicker than the Lilia, can go towards that farming, but can also run bot lane and help something like a Draven, which also speeds up the game. I think LGD, they want their top lane to be isolated, they want to snowball this Draven, so it means that when you come through to the later fights, they can have a lot of burst damage coming out of the Draven's first autos to set up for that Viego reset. On the other side, I think RNG, they really want to just quell what's happening in that bot side, get way up to a point of power, and play those front to backs with the Rel, the Skarner, and the Lilia all diving in.
It does feel like a lot of aggression, doesn't it? It does feel like this is the kind of matchup that can get pretty explosive. Meteor and Shaoye especially bringing that aggression to the table. But also in the top side, Burdol bringing that Mordekaiser out. This will be the first time Burdol ever plays Mordekaiser professionally. He's up against Juice, who's playing his first ever game professionally in the LPL. So we'll see how this top lane matchup is going to go. But I have a feeling LGD are going to play fast here.
That's what I want to see. I think if they don't play fast, I don't think it works out very well for them. Because you look at that other company like, wow, it's a whole lot of frontline you got to chunk through somehow. So LGD looking for them to turn up the heat. RNG on the other side want to just be on a slow boil, get their items, and then try and slap with the wallets, slap with the scaling champions, particularly from that jungle of the Lilia. See what Wei can do.
See what he can bring to the table. RNG and LGD, two of the most storied organizations in the history of the LPL, but today they are fighting to not hold the wooden spoon in their group. It's absolute chaos in the arena.
I was trying to say, I actually didn't know if I had a JinJiao in there, which is like completely out of left field. He's playing again today, by the way, folks. Like, I don't know. There was a lot of words there. I didn't catch too many of them.
Shaoye came out on stage today with all his rings on, but it's not. It's Pays that got the pentakill. So.
Is this like one of those like? But they were all of them deceived. For another ring was made.
Yeah.
This is Shaoye got a secret what he's holding back. That scares me, Joe. It scares me.
Yeah, it's a scary thing to comprehend. But here we go. Let's look at pathing. You kind of always have to look at pathing when these AP junglers are in the game, but also when something like a Diego could get off to such an aggressive start.
We've got the lane swap from them, so I think what we're going to do is see Lilia go Raptors and then see if they can link up on the top side. They are hiding their bot lane right now. Burdol knows something is up. He knows something is up. He knows that Juice would not just walk at him like that, surely. Come on, Burdol. You got to know. No one's been seen bot lane. Maybe they're trying to fake a leash, but they saw where the enemy jungler was on Raptors with an early ward. So he sees it, and this attempted level 1 play is not really achieved that much for RNG.
Burdol's not missed any minions of XP so far either, so he'll be honestly pretty happy with how that started. Meteor is going to be found. Surely he knows they're coming though, right? Like, where else could they possibly be on the map? He does get away, gets slowed down here, and Juice will be forced away from that one, so just controlling the top side of the map. In the meantime though, JinJiao is like, alright, anything you can do, I can do better. He steals a couple of the little crooks as well. But back to level 3 Lilia. JinJiao, this is not a 1v1 that you win for yourself. He's gonna go down. Okay, flashes. And Shaoye saves the day.
We were saying that, oh yeah, when you got the Lilia, you want to play slower, you want the Viego to be playing faster. That's the kind of champion that'll do that. Meteor actually going to be spotted going towards the top side of the map. In regards to that, maybe trying to path towards Burdol to protect against a dive. This is some weird-ass jungle pathing, because we've had some ping-pongs back and forth. I thought that Wei might try and go for a Raptor into Raptor invade if his kind of support could come down and help him with that. Lilia's very good at that one, but actually both these junglers have stayed on their own side of the rift somehow.
Yeah, honestly, this early game has been strange. This has been a really odd early game to start off with, but ultimately, despite the lane swap, Burdol is getting close to 10 CS, which, like, usually when you see these lane swaps, the top laners are just on 0 CS for a long time, but because of how strange the reaction has been, how the jungles have been chased out of their jungle instead of, like, trying to really punish these top laners, it's ended up with a bit of an odd start.
Yeah, because typically, lane swaps come with a set of jungle invades, you get a camp somewhere, and then use that to path towards your strong side to then dive the top laner. The top laner knows they're going to get dove, so they leave their turret, they don't get any CS or any experience. Burdol gets experience right the way for level 1, hits a very easy level 3. Once you're level 3 as a top lane, you can't really dive them in the same way, it becomes very risky. And you start asking yourself, why? Why? What? Look, I ask myself that question a lot in the regular walk of life. I like to be introspective. I like to ask myself, why am I doing things? This feels like a slightly more blunt, why did we think this was going to work out? We're fighting over jungle camps, but I don't really get what RNG have gained from this.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I've got to say, and I felt a little bit like this during MSI as well, lane swaps are quite fashionable right now. And, you know, there's a lot of people.
Is it fast fashion?
A lot of people will just wear things because it's fashionable rather than because it suits them. And I feel like maybe RNG just trying on a new garment, you know?
Do you think this is when there's a piece of clothing written in a language you don't actually understand, and it actually just says something either really horrible or really incomprehensible? Like, you're trying to wear this shirt, it's like, wow, this is great, I saw this at MSI. What does it say again? No, we haven't really got around to that just yet. I don't think these teams... there is a certain beauty in a language to good lane swaps. This is a bit more gibberish.
Yeah, this is something else. But anyway, the lane swap is over. The lane swap is over. And we go back to the status quo. So, in conclusion of our big lane swap, or sort of little lane swap, I guess, we've got a 10 CS lead up top for Burdol, and we've got pretty much even bot lanes, and the jungle has ever... LGD have just slightly won, I guess, the lane swap. It's a 300 goal lead. It's not exactly that impactful, but...
No, they have themselves like a CS, they have themselves an experience lead on Burdol as well. Remember, it's RNG that chose to do the lane swap. And Burdol's come ahead in XP, almost a full level, which is one of the other metrics you track within a lane swap. The one thing which LGD maybe missed out on is the chance for Viego to impact the 2v2 if it was in straight lanes. To then gank them early in a way that Lilia can't. Maybe that's the one loss they have, but I don't even think they're that worried about that. We now have grubs spawn. There might be a chance for something here. Haichao has ult. It's very quickly. There's already one grub taken by Meteor with the smite.
He's going to focus the higher HP grub. I wasn't sure if Wei was going to try and move in and recontest, but he doesn't actually have smite up anyway, so it's just going to be looking like 3 grubs for LGD. Nicely played here by Meteor to grab those.
But like, you're a Lilia. You're Lilia getting grubs is meant to be the quickest and easiest thing. The fact that they've kind of seeded the solo lane pressure, you know, you can see the teleports back into lane were not really that well timed from RNG. Haichao got back with tier 2 boots and ults, it was very mobile. Wei walks up anyway, just hoping to steal them away, and can't really get much from that. I guess they're going to head towards bot side, maybe to go towards Dragon. If Shaoye gets a quick enough reset, he can actually come back out of base and impact the Dragon fight. Haichao still has ult. We might be seeing a point where RNG lose out on the lane swap and lose both sets of the early game objectives too in the Grubs and the Dragon. This is beyond me right now. I really want to see what RNG can actually capitalize from this. I guess the escape some of the early laning phase for both the Skada, which we said can do poorly into the Mordekaiser, and of course against the Draven, which can be very aggressive. But I just don't see what's worth it right now. They need to prove something to me.
Yeah, I think the only logic that makes sense in my head was dodging Draven in early laning phase. But it's not like Draven... Like, Draven's good at level 1, but realistically, level 3 is like the moment where Draven really becomes Draven. And I feel like you kind of swap into the Draven at that level 3 mark, so I don't know how much was he even really gained there. First Drake is up onto the map here. We'll see. I mean, right now it's feeling like LGD are kind of just running the map, and RNG are all running around.
They're going somewhere, Joe. I'm certain of that. They are running in a direction towards a destination. Meteor is absolutely chilling, by the way. So, the thing about Viego is that, yes, you can gank early, flash in with Spectral more, and do a level 3, level 4 thing. Viego's completely fine farming too. Meteor has a farm advantage over the way. Got the grubs, that's one. Which gives you some XP, gets all 3 of them, gets the first dragon, and Wei has done very little on the Lilia so far. So, yeah, I mean, You've just had the topside jungle taken. He's gonna find nothing. Wait, this is empty. The shop is closed. Go home. Nothing's here. It's closing hours.
His blue buff is up this whole time as well, which just adds insult to injury. What? I love the observers even turn off Fog of War to show how little is here. Okay, Juice going to try and start things off on the top side. Remember, Burdol has his ult, so this is pretty much ungankable, but Wei's going to move in anyway. Burdol under the tower. Maybe he actually manages to die despite having the Mordekaiser all available.
Yeah, I think right there, Burdol was as confused as we are as to why Wei was on the top side of the map. It does take a flash and 2 ults to kill him. Burdol can teleport back, but not before he loses a significant amount of CS to tower and some XP with that as well. So, yeah, my explanation of that is that Burdol was as surprised as we are, because why would Wei be on the top side of the map?
But why didn't he ult? He had his ult that entire time. What? Like,
so,
right, we're explaining that the way pathing was really odd, but Burdol still managed to outplay how odd it was and managed to find a way to die and play.
Yeah, so we go back to... Well, I guess we have to replay this. So, at the end of it, I think basically he wasn't in range well to target and he'd already been hit by the Lilia. I think after you've been hit by the... I have no idea how they missed the E on it this season title, by the way. That is actually just great. As soon as you get the Dream Dust on you, you're going to get CC. And I think even if you go into the Realm of Death, you're going to take that CC and the extra damage anyway. So maybe he just thinks that by the time he's hit, he'd waited too long. I think he was just a little bit too patient with his ult.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the second Lilia appears in the lane, just ult the Scar, right? Just put yourself in that 1v1, get as far under the tower as you can, and waste Lilia's time. I don't know. Weird one in the top side. But hey, LGD ever so slightly behind. Remember, LGD is the team that actually looked pretty decent in the early games versus BLG. BLG winning that series 2-0 in the end, but LGD doing a reasonable amount to contend with them. They're trying to move up to this top side once again. This time Ming is in the area.
Well, and also, Waze just uses Flash in his ult in the top lane, gang. So, is it really worth getting one feel-good kill onto the onto that, or Shaoye walking up like that?
This is... Oh, he's alive. He's alive, and there's a flick back. He was just baiting them in. Exhaust comes down onto Shaoye as the grubs are finished off. Solar Flare lands from JinJiao.
Cash in.
That's a cash in onto Ming. Beautiful. Like, Shaoye predicts the play, baits them in, Giga Break stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening in this game. It's all prediction. Got another guy towards top side. Wait, he doesn't have flash, has ult. Just gonna flash forward, but is put into the ult this time.
Okay, Burdol in the death realm, but Wei is here to try and find a little bit more on the back side of things. He'll be put to sleep. Once again, shield comes in. That is a tanky Mordekaiser, and Wei's tanking the tower. Juice has to get under and will finish the job.
Okay, it's babysit the new top player on the Rift. Juice getting so much jungle attention at the expense of the rest of the map. Still will be getting decently far ahead of the matchup. Mordekaiser is someone that does very well in an isolated 1v1 against the Skarner, but yeah, when you get so many jungle ganks, then maybe it doesn't matter so much. Maybe Skarner can be more valuable than the Mordekaiser now, and maybe just be a better front line. I don't think it's going to be enough. Gonna put the spoiler warning on that. I think we've seen that in this game. Giving that early shutdown, or cash-in rather, to the Draven, not great. And while this is good for getting plates and to put Burdol behind, I just don't think it's going to do enough.
I've got to say, the funniest thing to me about this early game is that Wei has spent his entire game in this top lane trying to get Juice ahead. And somehow LGD have 6 grubs. How has this transpired that Wei is just camping top lane and yet still is not getting the grubs? It doesn't make sense.
Sometimes I sit there and I wonder why I talk about the things that I do. The one big takeaway we have from Graph is, well, you've got a Lilia who plays the game more slowly than the Viego. Tell me, dear viewer, who has done more in this early game in regards to farming? Oh, you're saying the Viego farmed more? Who's done more gang? Oh, the Lilia ganked more? Make it make sense, please. Someone.
Fair play to Wei though, like, that ult came online and he has ulted on cooldown, essentially. You don't often see that from a Lilia. Definitely getting value out of his ultimate. And to be fair, like, in a matchup like this, I really wasn't sure what we were going to see today. I have been enjoying this game so far. This has been some strange League of Legends, but entertaining nonetheless. And I'm excited now to see what's going to happen in 5 seconds' time when this Drake begins.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that Dragon, because there is likely going to be a fight over it. LGD get it. They have all of the objectives from the early game. They might look for a fight now. JinJiao misses the Zen plane.
Oh, Ming just Hex flashes at them, misses everything, and it's flicked back in.
Oh, no!
It's an absolute disaster from Ming. He's looking like Yellowstar.
Ming, look, he's a legend of the scene, but this has not been his best run of form. I think with that death, it's going to lead to Dragon going over as well. Wei has flash, has ult. Don't think it's going to get anything more than that. The lucky Swirl Seed Steel was the only thing they were aiming for. Can't get that. So, 6 grubs, 2 dragons, and apart from the Pear Tree, LGD has the full house. And this is going to be big problems now coming up for RNG, where LGD can leave dragons and hit towers and side lanes with 6 grubs if they want to. They don't have to. And particularly on a Hextech Rift, if you get themselves the soul and multiple dragons after, that's a problem too. So even though the gold lead's only 1,000, LGD in a huge strategic advantage.
It's feeling pretty good for them, isn't it? RNG, though, will get a consolation prize of this Herald, or at least they're trying to get this Herald, but the Hex Rift has meant the Meteor is on the scene. Flash available, Smite available, it's 4K on the Herald. I think this will go down to RNG, and Meteor instead moving to the top side. Tango in the target, stun lands, Valkyrie out, will survive, is live, JinJiao in the area, but Wei still gets that Herald and he's trying to escape. Shaoye is on the way as well. JinJiao doesn't have Solar Flare, and it makes it difficult to close that gap.
I think basically what LGD did was say, look, we've got the Dragon, we can't fight Herald, but if we can force Tanyuan off of that top lane turret with a good enough gank or kill him, then that's the tower dead because we have 6 grubs. They don't quite manage that, so that's a little bit of a swing and a miss from them. Meteor very happy to just keep himself on top side. They're going to try and force Tanyuan away from the turret and use 6 grubs if they can. With no mana and half HP, there is a real chance of a dive now with Solar Flare back up.
He just used his Valkyrie. They're not going to commit to the plate. No minions there. And also Ming and Wei in the area. So deciding against it in the end. Because our bot lanes, every time the camera pans to Shaoye, I see him spam that Bloodlust and just charge forwards. But each time, doesn't quite lead to anything. Huanfeng playing with a lot of respect on his signature pick.
So with the, actually, gosh, yeah, this is significant. Man, the backwards ult out of base of Worlds 2020, if you weren't around for that era, it was a special time for us. But the thing about this Draven build, it kind of goes back to the battle Draven. We have seen Bloodthirster burst Dravens in the past, particularly with the overshield and it no longer being a crit item. It is much more about just running forwards, using the shield, even taking more damage than you trade back, but healing up anyway afterwards and still using that overshield. You're just going to run at people and just brute force them with multiple trades in a row and just use the stats.
You keep saying overshield, and it's just giving me visceral flashbacks to Halo 3
Halo?
and that humming noise as the shield comes online. Yeah,
one of the most satisfying sounds in gaming.
Exactly, run it, trade your shield, go back, heal up, get that sound going.
Dude, I have been on a real rabbit hole with Halo speedrunning. You know, in the original game, it was easier to speedrun on harder difficulties than it was on easy ones? Because the way that they coded the game was that you have to, like, grenade jump to get to special areas sometimes. So you basically explode yourself to give yourself a boost. The way they coded it in the original game is not that you take more damage when you're on harder difficulties, it's that you deal less damage, which means that when you throw grenades at yourself, on easy difficulty, you explode yourself and you can't do it. On harder difficulties, you can still launch yourself. We'll see if LGD can launch themselves at the enemy. We do have an ult JinJiao. I'm very aware of that. Hopefully get some more chance to talk about other games at times, and we do for now. But yeah, that's just like a bit of like a trivia thing. Yeah, it turns out it's easier to speedrun on harder difficulties because you do less damage.
I remember back in Halo 2, I used to love just breaking the game. That was one of the most breakable games in the history of the world, where like brute shot jumping around the map where you like slide along a wall, blasting
the super slides, yeah.
And like you could, if you went in a custom game with a friend, you play on opposite teams, you could sword dash cancel a bunch of times while they keep jumping off your head every time.
Yes.
And just scale literal skyscrapers. Yeah, and that was...
Oh, that's called Butterfly. It's one of the biggest speedrunning strats. Yeah, you can use it to skip the entirety of Haichao. It is a heck of a trick. I love it.
Almost every level in Halo 2. It was, it was a game and a half, and it was one of my favorite games of all time, honestly. But yeah, unfortunately, the only thing that was skipped in this game was all of the grubs by Wei, so...
Yeah.
not quite as stylish.
And I was about to say like a handful of early aggression too, because like we have had a huge amount of farm from junglers and a lot of focus around the objectives. We had a couple of fights towards top, but that's really been it. When you don't see stuff like the Lee Sin and the Xin Sao meta, the game just kind of slows down a lot. You don't have that level 3, level 4 kind of pressure from the junglers in the same way. LGD taking that mid lane out of turret while we were yapping about different things, which I find very enjoyable for the record. Does mean that LGD have potentially the ability to push up mid lane, but they're the ones losing control of it right now. Herald's coming through, Dragon's spawning, that's the precursor to this.
Herald comes down to try and force this tower and force Cryo in the mid lane as well. It's TP onto the Herald that's no longer there. Comes out from Juice to join the play. There we go. Mid-tier 1 taken down. Tanyuan gets into Herald, slams into the floor and jumps out again. Herald will go down. Mid-prio for RNG though, on a third important trade here. Haichao double flick back. Ming survives the solar flare, but LGD fighting for crab and still fighting for control.
Yeah, but we do have Wei with Flash ult. Going through this choke point was dangerous for LGD, but they managed to buy themselves place with Haichao's flick back. They lose themselves the mid-turret, but they're going to get themselves the Dragon, and Tanyuan just says, all right, I'm out. We're not fighting. Let's go elsewhere. Burdol joins him, so we just exit stage left, pursued by a Mordekaiser.
Maybe a tier 2 in the mid lane for RNG. They've not exactly got a tower taking composition though, have they? Jin, not his speciality, but it doesn't matter if Ming can find the engage, but he's tanking tower for too long, and it's twice in a row that Ming completely fumbles it.
Oh, he's just made of glass. Leona is meant to be so tanky, and that's great for JinJiao. The Rel is tanky too, but just not able to tank up that kind of damage. Shaoye doesn't pick up the kill, won't get a full cash in there, but he's still very happy with the first one he had in the game, so I don't think he's even bothered by that. RNG, they've kind of flopped the last minute or so. The mid lane out of turret, that was a good take, but giving up the dragon and then losing a kill there to stall out their push around the map feels like it's a big mistake. We're not even going to go back to what happened on Dragons. There were no kills. Ming goes in for a two-man, but you've got the flash, you've got the cleanse. You need to make these plays in multiple parts. Make sure the cleanse or the flash isn't there. It's too easy for Shaoye to get out and turn back the damage.
I love Juice gets the ult at the end there. He's like, I've got him, guys. And turns around. His whole gang has just abandoned ship already. They could see Burdol moving in through the jungle. They knew that the play was over. A bit of a panic play from RNG, it felt like. After the Drake went down, they didn't get the objective they were hoping for. They got the tier 1s. You saw the TP top from Tango, but it was matched by Burdol. Then you see them try and force on a tier 2, but it doesn't really work. Then they try and force an engage. It doesn't really... Felt like they were sort of flailing.
Yeah. They were trying to do that with melee butterfly skip thing. That's what they were trying to do. That it all comes back together. Meteor has presence in the enemy jungle. Again, they've been trying to get this top lane out of turret for a while now. But RNG has done a good job defending that. They just took a turret on the other side of the map, and we've got even a Jin'l coming through. That okay, right?
Sorted.
Sure.
I think the idea was to get Shaoye, but the Hex Gates exist, so it's not going to work. JinJiao actually going to be forced to flash by Juice there, so at least a small advantage taken, but it is small.
It is. I think he was afraid of an ult or a flash ult coming through, which would have pulled him back into the Lilia, and then that's guaranteed CC from the Lutz of Lullaby afterwards. Baron has spawned. I think that's why the game has changed a little bit. We're starting to go towards outer turret. Any deaths now could lead towards Baron. That Center Blade was, yeah, that wasn't it. But it really feels like, again, everyone's kind of spoiling for an odd kill here and there now. Not necessarily with any setup. They just know that if they get one kill, it maybe just goes over towards Baron.
On top of that as well, especially for LGD, it's very easy for them to get one kill, but also the resets come through for Meteor. It's very easy to get one kill to snowball that into a whole fight. See if they can find any angles.
Can't reset if you've done.
Is he going to smite? I didn't actually quite see if he managed to get that for himself or not, but has to ult out of the play. Not ideal for him.
The amount of damage he took there is a big, big litmus test, actually. If Viego's going to pop like that, that's not great. There is a chance for RNG to get these burst combos. It means that LGD can't really play too disrespectfully. Meteor, of course, he can heal off the jungle camps, and he has a huge amount of damage. He has so much farm, by the way. He has more farm than the top laners. He's doing a really good job of that. And we've seen Baron rushes from them before. They get very quickly blue trinketed out, though. We won't be able to complete this one.
Yeah, Viego and Zyra are not created equal when it comes to rushing Baron. Meteor, unfortunately, won't be able to make that happen again. Especially without that ultimate online as well. It becomes very risky to try and stay in the pit. You know, Viego, that ultimate is his ultimate get out of jail free card. I realise I just said the sentence, that ultimate is his ultimate.
Yeah.
There were more
you can
words
tell
after
because of the way that it is. We've got Scar on the flank. Juice can come through a wall here. Is spotted heading out, so exit from the jungle there. Minute till the Dragon fighting up the mid lane Cryo. Again, any kill could lead towards Soul for LGD or towards a Baron for either team. So big fights really hinging around this mid lane. We're not really playing the side lane game right now. It has realistically been about mid lane push into objective.
Burdol finds a pull, but it doesn't really lead into anything. Neither team really getting that much poke down either. It's not like either team has significant poke composition. The Corki obviously gets some rockets in.
Ooh,
so
they catch Burdol.
Got Burdol. He might go down here, but actually walks away and gets the shield. And he keeps himself alive somehow. He's in the death realm. His Tangyuan finishes the job. Curtain call comes out, and RNG might finally have found a positive play for themselves. Drake spawning in 13 seconds. They want Haichao as well. Flash away from the Talia. He'll get out with his life. Wait a second. Where is JinJiao? He is being real sneaky.
He is He was trying to retreat from the play. I don't really know where he's ended up now. LGD, after losing one, actually go towards the Baron. There was a blue trinket on them earlier. Remember, this is a very farmed Diego. They have significant damage. RNG don't sit. They did this versus PLG, snuck out a Baron away from them. Can they do the same to RNG?
The one thing I will say, it does feel like they are losing versus Baron right now. I'm not sure.
Against Shaoye, though. I think Shaoye can help them finish it. This should be it. I think they've just got it.
Spite is available. Ming has just seen what's going on, but it's too little and it's too late. LGD, they do it again.
Oh, it's another heist for them, and they get themselves the big objective on the top side. It is at the cost of a Baron. The reason they go for this is because, of course, they lost that kill earlier in mid lane, meant that they couldn't just kind of do things the traditional way, go towards the dragon, and they'll have to wait for that big soul bonus for the next dragon if they are to take that one. But still, this should give them the ability to control and push some of those lanes, which RNG have actually managed to get the better of in the last minute or two. They've been pushing in with Tangyuan, they've been pushing in mid lane. This should help them stabilize the map.
Certainly should. Wei just trying to get this Scuttle Crab and get out of dodge. Tangyuan will be able to Valk over the wall. Will be a blue buff taken by RNG in response to that Baron, as well as obviously that
that's so equal.
Drake.
No, it's post 20 minutes. Everyone gets the blue buff. Game ending, honestly.
Like, I like that RNG made a play and went for the Drake. I definitely think that was correct. I think just underestimating what LGD are going to do in terms of rushing these objectives. And that's a little disappointing to see from RNG, since that's what LGD did in their most recent series. That was literally what made that series so exciting, was Meteor rushing this Baron. Oh, hang on, Shaoye thought. Not going to go for the lullaby.
I was wondering if they'd just try and blow the cleanse, because they want to take fights in multiple parts. They don't want to go into Shaoye when he has both summoners, which he does right now. If you can force one on 3, that helps. They are opening up the ults.
Shaoye takes 2 hits. JinJiao the target now as TP comes through from Burdol as well. Solar Flare, whirling death, all of the ultimates blasted out. Ming will fall into Death Realm as Wei dives into the middle of everyone and just gets one-tapped. I mean, it's too easy for LGD.
And they finally get themselves the big combo. RNG, their initiations have been really quite poor so far. And I feel like, particularly Haichao, not even being targeted, able to put out some really good damage in these plays too. With the Baron still rolling, they'll go from the bot lane to the mid lane where, as we see on Blue Feeder, here's one they prepared earlier, a minion wave, and that's going to get themselves 2 inner turrets in a fell swoop.
Yeah, this is a huge gold gap opening up now. 6,000 gold, 4K of that in the Baron power play right now as Meteor even cleans up some jungle camps. Bit of revenge for the blue that was stolen before the play by Wei.
An eye for an eye, a blue for a blue. I think that's how the saying goes. Right, we're gonna go back to this fight. We're gonna go back towards this bot lane fight. So, another really weird engage. So you open up with the Jin ultimate. Ming doesn't get onto Shaoye. Haichao gets out with his ult. But what happens after this? I mean, JinJiao just goes straight in. Great triple Zenithblade into everything else. And then, as he said, just a really awkward moment as Wei kind of goes into his watch out Eve. Haichao's protected play, just flicks him back in and just dies for free.
JinJiao literally just outplayed all of them, just soaked everything. Denied Ming's combo with his CC. And then Haichao and JinJiao outplay Wei as well. He was trying to get like a 5-man sleep, right? And Zonya's, he had a Seeker's Arm Guard in his inventory. Okay, this is a 2-man sleep. The lullaby comes in, Shaoye immediately. Just gonna cleanse it. JinJiao happy to soak up some shots. LGD walk away again. But yeah, just the CC coming out from JinJiao and from Haichao. Really making it difficult for Ming and Wei to get involved.
Yeah, and it feels like RNG, you know, they would have really liked to have Lilia very far ahead of the game. And if you're looking at the jungle matchup, you can see that is quite clearly not the case. It's one of the reasons why Diego has been picked. It's why he's been picked so much, is that, yes, you can play for the reset win condition. Also, just fine to be an AD farming jungler. Not completely the same as someone like a Graves, but farm's okay, can become a carry, and going towards the GA's third item, you can see that Meteor is going to have an easier game now than Wei in a lot of these situations, particularly once that GA is through. And I think the Leona is so much more tanky than the Rel that JinJiao's going to have an easier game than Ming as well. So yeah, the jungle support duo, it feels like the barrier of entry in terms of the difficulty in this game is way inferior to LGD.
It certainly is. And actually, reset denied there by Shaoye's whirling death does mean that LGD, they've got an extra man on the map with 30 seconds until Drake. They can get complete control of this area. JinJiao going to play very deep, which makes it difficult for Wait Juice to move into the situation. TP even comes through, I'm assuming, from Haichao, as he's finished a death cap as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really nasty. So now you have to face check into the death cap. You're trying to push out mid lane as RNG, and yes, that's been how they've managed to get some decent approaches to objectives before. They need to find Shaoye without his cleanse. They might be able to do something if they shut that Draven down. It's going to be hard to reach him, though.
Chasing Burdol, but remember, he will just ult one person, and then there's not a whole lot he can do about it. They're chasing for him, forcing a flash out. Blast cone missed, and he will get away from the fourth shot, but he just dies. Death realm
He dies?
Unused. Drake goes down.
And it's going to be the soul for an inner turret push. Can they get the inhibitor turret as well? I think they can. This is going to completely melt, and now LGD have to defend in a 4v5.
So RNG, they get an inhibitor. Are they going to stick around for more? Looks like the answer is no, but Hex Soul taken even with an inhibitor traded. I still feel like this favors LGD.
Yeah, for me, I just think that Hex Soul is so powerful, you never want to give that up. And what it also means now is that if Leona ever hits a Zenith Blade, which is one of the easiest skill shots to hit onto you, the whole team gets slowed, which means you can't run out of something like the Solar Flare.
He's got Glacial Augment and Aftershock. This is too OP.
Guy's loaded up with an extra set of runes. Yeah, JinJiao, for me, actually, he's been the player of the game for me so far. I think this Leona has been absolutely obnoxious. It feels like just every time the RNG try and pick him up, it's like, nope, I am the tankiest support. Again, every time this pick gets locked in right now in the LPL, I'm just glad it's back for our LPL supports. They're just really happy with this pick, and JinJiao definitely amongst them. And now we're going towards the Baron as well. Let's see if that Hex Soul on that Leona can make it even more obnoxious.
This pretty quick. RNG have got to try and find a foothold here. Tango trying to move in as Haichao goes for the wall, but Ming immediately capitalizes. It's answered by JinJiao diving on the other side as Burdol going to finish Ming in the death row. Now to the rest of the fight. Sleep onto JinJiao. They can't really follow up. Meteor gets out with his life as well, and in the meantime, Burdol still going on the backside of the play. Everybody chasing onto the Mordekaiser once again, but it might cost an objective. No, recess from the rest of the team. Maybe RNG can go for the Baron.
I think they can now, with so many low health bars. I don't think that LGD can stay around this part of the map, and even when we were just calling about how strong Hex Soul is and how well it felt LGD could play, they managed to find themselves at a bit of an advantage. Here come LGD with a Hex Gate.
JinJiao stuck around, and he's got a Warbond, so he's healed up. Baron taken, JinJiao looking for the engage. Huanfeng found. Meteor here to follow up. Can they get the kills? Can they deny the buffs is the question. Haichao trying to chase alongside Shaoye here. This way, getting out with that movement speed. Tango and the target stunned on the rocks. They can't quite finish the kills. RNG, get out of dodge.
So I think RNG, on the whole, walk away the better from that play. Meteor's going to go back and wave clear, I suppose. But, you know, most of this comes from the fact that Burdol is really struggling to frontline. We're going to see that in this replay. Actually, no, we don't even go this far back for that one. It's a little bit after. Remember, this is in a 4v5. You see how strong LGD are if they can actually get their damage onto people in range of them. It's just been hard to play around the front line to get themselves the kill here, though, even though the Baron goes over.
This has been a messy game, to say the very least. But right now, we're 3,500 gold up for LGD. We're 4 Drakes up. It's Baron in the hands of RNG. We'll see if that can lead to any objectives. The supers in the mid lane haven't really led to that much pressure because Draven is so good at dealing with those super minions. He can clear them so effectively that he's not really got that much mid-prio. Still 2.5 minutes until that Elder Dragon spawns, so no neutrals up on the map.
You know what that means? Back to mid lane, baby! We're fighting over the wave again!
Baron buff will certainly help in that regard, but I'm not sure it's going to lead to all too much. Burdol behind enemy lines right now. Juice does get stunned up. Solar Flare comes in. Does use his grab, but it's not really going to lead to anything, and he falls. Burdol has found Huanfeng in the Death Realm as well. Death being the operative word on this one. Nothing a Jin can do about that one, and Haichao even finds a flick back onto his opposite. Man, it's a massacre on the rim, and it's all in favor of LGD.
Run, Ming! Run! I'm sure you can make it. Maybe not in this world, though. He'll be going down soon. That is 4 for none for the side of LGD. They're going to teleport to a wave awaiting them on the bot side of the map. And despite RNG winning a lot of the fights that have led up to this point, LGD find the big pick onto the rookie top laner coming in from RNG, who honestly has had a good game. I don't think Juice has been the problem, and it feels like just this one pick here, though, has been the difference. LGD finally break open the map once again.
Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced the ZDZ was the problem in RNG right now. Based on this game, I don't know if this was a ZDZ issue. Mid inhib going to go down. They're not going to overpush for the bottom inhib. LGD respect the respawns coming out from RNG. Going to go for those resets because Elder is up in 70 seconds time. And no matter what has happened in this game so far, there's always time for Elder shenanigans.
That there are. Juice is a little bit separated from the team. He gets completely isolated. Burdol managed to get off efficiency, managed to take down Huanfeng. And honestly, given how well Juice has played out most of these team fights, I can't really fault him for the entire game, but that's a bad moment from him. He has been so important to this team composition, taking off Burdol. He's the one who picked off this side. And the whole team fight basically falls apart when the front line kind of changes the results of the team fights.
I'll say Burdol has had an interesting game on the Mordekaiser. Doesn't feel that comfortable on the champion. Not gonna hold that thought though, because Juice has jumped back into the fight immediately, chunked by Shaoye. It's gonna clear vision out. Meteor is gonna get rooted. This is a big opportunity for RNG. If they could get the jungler just as Baron spawns by Shaoye, that's just as good. That's a shutdown into Tangyun's pocket. Double sleep comes on through Meteor core, but they're gonna go for JinJiao. The root lands. This could be everything for RNG. Elder's up in 4 seconds time, and they have control.
RNG can also threaten going towards mid lane if LGD overstay as well. It's an open inhibitor. Meteor's going to take down the Scuttle Crab. LGD need to be very careful. They have 35 seconds until Shaoye's back up.
I'm looking at this Warbox from JinJiao. He's back full health behind enemy lines, looking for the flank of all time. Shaoye will not be a part of the play. Let's see what LGD can find. 10k on the Elder Dragon as Haichao just trying to get damage down onto Ming. JinJiao threatening on the backside as Burdol goes into the death round. Weird way, perhaps an opportunity. If he can finish the jungler, LGD can turn this for Waiters Golden. And Burdol's left alone in the middle of no man's land. Meteor stunned up as well. JinJiao can't get into the play. Haichao can't get the damage down, but half HP on all of these RNG members. I don't know how much longer they can keep going with this.
Okay, Shaoye's coming back up. Shaoye's back. Maybe he can cast the ult. This is going to be an extended fight.
He's got Hex Case as well, so he's back into the play completely. 6k on Elder. We're going to flip this one as everybody dives into the action. And LGD start things up. The resets come through. Juice can't find anything, and LGD somehow have made a miracle occur. 17-7 as they charge into the base.
The Elder doesn't even die. It doesn't matter. Too many champions die instead. RNG so close to finding the miracle pick they needed, but it turns around just as quickly. How fickle we are here in the LPL.
I don't know how Meteor, Haichao, and JinJiao all had flawless games. It doesn't make any sense. But at the end of all of that chaos, LGD come out on top.
Yeah, we said that both these teams that we looking for a redemption arc, so they say. It felt like really both of these teams have had some very, very rocky showings in their first few series. And yes, LGD did have that very close series versus BLG, but they couldn't even close that out. And a lot of that was through their pre-objective setups. They had managed to get caught out somewhere in mid lane just before the big fight. It happened again, and I mean, it's kind of a sad story that RNG couldn't capitalize off of what really should have been some game-ending picks at points.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like LGD having that close series against BLG, that should be the tape that can shore up your objective play, right? Surely that footage is the footage for improving this stuff. Still a little dicey, but it worked out in the end, and win